friends, Jewel back with you. I want to talk today about the natal moon in conjunct the ascendant. What happens when we see this? So the moon is one of the most important factors in the chart, probably the most important thing, because it's our actual inner landscape there. So when we have this aspect, the outward behavior and the ways in which we seek safety, so that's the ascendant and the moon. So, safety, intimacy, security, and our behavior, these are not in alignment. So the first tier of behavior that we adopt, that's the ascendant. The ways in which we approach others and exhibit ourselves in initial situations and relationships that are often not extremely personal. The ascendant is our mask, and you often hear it described as your mask for a very, very good reason. The sun is really our identity, and those two things are different in astrology. So the sun is our more authentic personal expression. The ascendant is the very specific behaviors that we adopt when we're trying to fit in or be accepted. So the moon is our habitual emotional patterns, our habit patterns, the tendencies of the mind. And it also shows the ways in which we rebalance ourselves when we're knocked around by life. So how do we reestablish ourselves? How do we seek safety and security? That's the moon. So again, with the inconjunction from the ascendant to the moon, the behaviors that we initially exhibit, that we're going to typically exhibit, they are counter to what we need in order for our feelings and our inner self to be known to the world. So we aren't acting out our feelings. We're so conditioned to hide and even lie about what we really feel, that people who have this aspect, they're never really able to partake in true intimacy. The moon is the planet of intimacy. Unlike the moon on the ascendant, people who can't help but, spew their feelings out onto the world, their feelings are just right on the surface. The inconjunction has this way of encouraging us to tightly control what feelings and what patterns are revealed or admitted to. So it's a really, really deep defense mechanism that we develop really, really early on. And people who have this aspect, they're coming from a place of feeling not safe to reveal, feeling that their feelings will not be accepted or taken care of or somehow rejected. So they, again, physically show up so counter to what they actually need that they end up feeling extremely alienated from everyone. They can't feel known. They can't feel like you get my feelings, you get what I need. And they're actually alienating their own selves. And this is done by not connecting the needs and the feelings to the world, not revealing those. So if you're acting one way but feeling another, you can't blame others or the world for not giving you what it is that you need. They're giving you what it is that you've shown that you need, not that you authentically need. So they're going to respond to you in ways that are satisfying at the ascendant, but deeply troubling to us at the level of our safety and our security. And this is one of those aspects where our own behavior is very much, again, counter to the kind of safety that we want to feel. So we have to learn to carefully admit to our feelings. You have to learn that you will only be able to feel as connected to others as you can allow them to know you. So you people who have this particular aspect, you're really only truly known to yourselves. And if you can be brave enough to tell others what you really feel, then you can begin to build the trust in life that is missing. Intimate connecting can only come when we allow others to intimacy. Intimacy comes through sharing and telling our real feelings to another. We learn to trust that other or the world with our information. We learn that sharing our hidden frailties and shortcomings creates a stronger bond. So you are basically not bonded with the environment. You are not bonded with probably anybody. There is a massive disconnect that you've got to find and fix if you want to authentically rejoin life. People with this aspect are very much caught up in patterns where they will sell themselves as something else, and often they sell themselves short. So, this can show up as being the selfless helper, or the dutiful worker, or the coworker that takes on too much of other people's work, or the loyal friend who will do anything for you and you don't even have to ask. People with this aspect are extremely hungry for appreciation and recognition from the outside world. So they actually secretly hope that by giving too much, or by doing too much, or taking on too much, that you will realize, or the world will realize, how they have sacrificed themselves. And then you, in turn, will respond by creating this environment and these conditions that will be safe enough for the person with this aspect to relax and then connect and admit what they really feel and start to have some kind of, to start to come out somehow and show up. So they're trying to earn the right to be able to admit their true feelings, and you have to then, stick around after they've done everything for you. So, because you're obligated. So that's the unconscious thinking behind this. So typically they don't get to the place of ever really getting the other person or others in general to get to that obligatory state or to feel that they do owe them, because the person with this aspect isn't actually able to use their selflessness and service to correctly buy the safe conditions or relationships or situations that they can then reveal safely their true feelings in. So their ploy doesn't actually work. They sell themselves too short. There isn't enough of a demand when it comes to what they want in return. It's not even implied. So it's very much like when someone gives you something and then after they give it to you, they're like, oh, by the way, that'll be $10. You're like, wait, what? But I only took it because it was free. I didn't know that I was going to have to pay for it. And that's when they usually give it back. So the thinking, again, is that if I do this for you, then you're going to be turning that back on me and you'll be obligated to reciprocate. But non-reciprocal relationships are really a symptom of having this type of aspect, because they don't demand or require or set up that there will be something that they're expecting repayment. They don't expect that acknowledgement, and that acknowledgement and the attention and the recognition, that's usually the form of payment that they're looking for there. So they can remain safely entrenched in their emotional patterns, people with this aspect, by withdrawing their feelings from the world. We can keep this going for a long time. Inconjunctions actually are really difficult to solve because they're some of our bigger blind spots, because they aren't one of those flashing red lights on the dashboard of our life. It's like, oh, it's on empty, I got to get gas right now. Those are like squares and oppositions. Inconjunctions are like when the check engine light comes on and you're like, oh, I'll get to that later, I'll get to that later, I'll get to that later. But in the meantime, the car is kind of compromised. It won't go as fast. You're getting worse gas mileage. Things are starting to go wrong. It's one of those things that is not so acute that we have to address it now, but we need to, because it's something that will color all of our life. So again, the ways in which people with this aspect seek safety, not admitting how they really feel. So, those feelings can't be judged or responded to or rejected. This creates those behaviors where they're physically overextending themselves, so others then feel obligated to respond in kind. So this does have physical consequences, because this is shooting out to the ascendant, which is a physical expression of ourself. So you can make yourself sick by working too hard or taking on other people's burdens or other people's guilt. This is a part of the cycle of unconsciously trying to obligate people to you. So they will create that safe environment or conditions there. So then the feelings, the emotions, the moon can then come forth for you. So what has to happen is you, the person with this aspect, you must create that safe environment for yourself. We have to approach this from the back. So you are so disconnected from your own ability to handle your own true feelings. You have to start admitting what those feelings are. You have to start admitting what your needs are to yourself. You probably don't know what your needs are. You're very focused on what the outward needs are, what you need to do in order to bring about these conditions that you actually don't ever end up bringing about. So you have to become more outwardly selfish. You need to identify what makes you feel really full and connected, and physically do more of that. You can't wait for your environment and the conditions around you to coax out your feelings. You will make yourself sick if you don't start admitting those feelings and those needs now. Now is always here. There will never be a perfect relationship or condition or job that will heal you out of your insecurities. The outside is not going to penetrate deeply enough to heal the inside. We've got to heal from the inside out in every case, especially in this case. the belief is that we can't do that, that it's the conditions, it's the other, it's the outside that's got to create this way that we can then reveal. So you've got to create the conditions of safety around your own self by telling others what you really think and feel, and then allowing the chips to fall where they may. You've got to approach this issue, again, from the back. You're trying to do it from the ascendant down. We've got to do it from the moon ascendant direction. We've got to go from the moon to the ascendant to fix this. The moon has to lead, not the ascendant. So your feelings being revealed will help you to feel safer with others, because it will build the trust that you do not have now, that you're trying to maybe create sometime in the future after they have responded to you in the ways that you think can create that womb of safety that you've always been missing. You can't build trust by acting in ways that keep your inner self a secret. You have to build it by telling your feelings. And it's super scary when we have an aspect like this. It feels like that is going to lead to our obliteration or some kind of disaster in the world. And that's not it. It's when we start behaving in ways that are actually going to contribute to our security, we can start creating a new neural pathway in the brain. We can start creating a new way of believing, and then of behaving, and then of seeing and perceiving. So this is one, again, the ability to be ourselves, the ability to admit our feelings and to have those responded to and encouraged. That was not there in the early environment. There's something going on where you felt that you would keep your feelings hidden and secret and then behave in ways that were acceptable, and that was going to keep you alive. And that worked beautifully while you needed that defense mechanism, while you needed that coping skill. But it's time to let it go. It is time to really come out and show and tell what you really feel. Now, if you can do that, you can heal that sense of disconnection. You heal it by doing what it is you're afraid of. You do it, you heal by telling us, standing on a rooftop and shouting, when you get to that point, what you really feel. We all want to know. We're very interested. What you tell, what you show, and what you choose to tell and show there at the Ascendant, well, that's all okay. That's all fine. But the good stuff, the juicy stuff, the ripe fruit, that's your real feelings. That's what people are really after. They want to know. People who love you, people who are interested in you, they want to know. So share, have it come out, reconnect yourself. So you're doing what you're feeling. Your behavior and your feelings are on the same page. And this becomes a wonderful aspect where we have this amazing compassionate nature that arises out of this, but yet we've learned to be appropriately selfish. We need to do that in order to ensure that we're going to get our needs met here. So I hope this was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. You can find me on the internet at truthandaspectastrology.com, and Facebook and Instagram and other social media at Truth and Aspect Astrology. And please find me on Patreon and support me over there. As I get more popular and get more busy, I'm able to spend less time making videos. So if I can get more supporters over there, then everybody wins, and I can start contributing more and longer and better series here to my channel. And yes, I am a consulting astrologer. I am mainly a relationship and intimacy astrologer, but I interpret all types of charts. And look for me over on my website again at truthandaspectastrology.com, and I'll be back super soon with more super cool videos. Bye.